Thank you for joining us, Mr. Khalifa. I know that now you are studying in the Institute of South-South Cooperation and Development at Peking University for your doctorate degree. So could you please tell us why do you choose to study in China, and during your time here, which aspects of Chinese society impress you the most?
Thank you. Well, I came in China last year, September, and there are a lot of issues that bring me here to China. The first one is the universities that are here in China. Well, if you look at the universities here in China currently, they are climbing higher in the global rankings. The Peking University, where I'm studying right now, and the Tsinghua. These are universities that are well renowned in the global rankings. So this is why I decided to come here in China. And the other thing I think is the cultural diversity. China is a country of more than 1.4 billion people. So this is very enough to tell you what kind of a country it is. China is very big. It's a country of diversity. So it offers foreign community, foreign students with a diversity of culture, tradition, the language, the cuisine, the food. So this is why I decided to come in China for international experience.
As we all know that China is now promoting rural revitalization and common prosperity, and achieving common prosperity is one of the essential requirements of Chinese modernization. And Tanzania is also an agricultural country. So do you think there are any commonalities between China and Tanzania in agricultural and rural development, and what lessons do you think Chinese modernization can provide for the modernization of African agriculture?
It's quite a vibrant sector. It's a very important sector. Currently, it employs about 65.5% of the population in the country, and it also contributes about 65% again for the raw materials of domestic industries. And when it comes to GDP, as I mentioned, the sector is quite vibrant. It contributes about 26.5% of the GDP. So in terms of commonalities, what I can say is that the government is really working hard to improve the sector with the hope that it also can transform the living standard of the people, especially those engaging in agricultural activities, especially in the rural areas. So just like here in China with the National Agricultural Modernization Plan, in Tanzania also we do have a number of projects and programs. Currently we do have a DBT, Building a Better Tomorrow, which is one of the essential programs. Currently it's working with the youth on how it can empower in agribusiness. So we think this sector is quite vibrant, especially for those people in the rural areas and the youth overall, to improve the living standard of the people.
In 2021, China completed its goal of eradicating absolute poverty, thus achieving the poverty reduction target of the United Nations 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development 10 years ahead of the schedule. So from your perspective, what lessons can African countries learn from China's experience in poverty reduction?
I think African countries and other developing countries, they have a lot of things to learn from China's experience. The success of China now, you guys are celebrating now, it's a combination of factors. What I can say is the very strong political and economic support from the government on how it can, on how to improve the living standard of the people, particularly the policy-wise. So what I think African countries can also learn is just by formulating specific policies that engage on how they can be able to improve the living standard of the people. And these policies could also be integrated in a national development agenda. That's one. The other, what I think African countries can learn from China's experience is by using the labor force, especially the youth labor force, which is quite abundant in Africa. So African countries can use this effectively in modernizing agricultural sector and other mushroom sectors that are really coming.
This year marks the 60th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations between China and Tanzania, and under the frameworks of the BRI and also the Forum on China and African Cooperation, China and Tanzania's cooperation are still deepening. So could you please share with us the changes that this cooperation has brought to Tanzania and its people?
I can say Tanzania has benefited significantly from the bilateral relationship with China. For almost a decade now, China has been one of the largest source of foreign direct investment in Tanzania, and currently there are more than 260 projects, investment projects that are going on in Tanzania. That's one. The second thing that Tanzania has benefited much from the bilateral relationship with China is the trade. In terms of trade, I can say after the COVID, the trade volumes between Tanzania and China has increased significantly. Last year in 2023, we were talking about 8.78 billion USD, the trade volume between the two countries, which is quite tremendous. And the other thing that I think that is very important in terms of bilateral relationship between Tanzania and China. In 2021, Air Tanzania, it's a national airline company. It established a direct flight from Guangzhou to Dar es Salaam, which is it's a very good destination in terms of trade and the tourism. So establishment of this airline company, I think it marks a very new beginning. And currently we are talking about roads, bridges, and the stadium. So I think Tanzania has much benefited from this cooperation with China.
The ninth Forum on China-African Cooperation will be held in Beijing this autumn. So what are your expectations for the future cooperation between China and Africa?
What I would like to see is the further integration, further collaboration between Africa and China in terms of investment, trade, and modernizing the agricultural sector in Tanzania. Currently, I know most of African countries, they do have necessary minerals and natural resources which are quite significant in the globe. So what I would like to see is how both countries, we can benefit, win-win situation. African countries and China as well, all of us, we want to benefit. We are talking about Africa and China, but I think we also share a lot of common prosperity, a lot of common goals in Global South. So I think this forum could also look at one angle on how we can further integrate most of our problems, the shared problems that we do have, we also face in all countries, and so that we can achieve in a common prosperity and a global integration.
Thank you again for your sharing, Mr. Khalifa.
Thank you so much.